Ubisoft have absolutely smashed it with the development of Star Wars Outlaws on the Switch 2. One of the biggest surprises this year, and honestly, if you choose to get Star Wars Outlaws on the Switch 2, you won't be disappointed, especially with them utilizing play as you go, play wherever in the world, and play at pretty good quality. Today, I'm going to give you a hands-on review of Star Wars Outlaws on the Nintendo Switch 2, and overall, I'm really impressed. I have played the game on PS5, so I'm using it as a similar comparison just to give you an idea of some of the performance that you will lose. However, the ability to play wherever you are is a huge gain. Overall, it's a really good port and holds the 30 FPS that was targeted extremely well. One of the first things I noticed when playing the PS5 version earlier this year is it felt a little bit sluggish in my opinion. And although that's targeting a much higher FPS, it's still much more nice to play at a stable FPS where the game does look relatively smooth, and although the lower resolution of 720p in handheld, if you do have it docked, you will be targeting 1080p. Now, of course, you can see where Ubisoft have had to cut back to make it run on the Switch 2, especially when you look at shadows and definitely the hair. But at the end of the day, the chances are if you're picking this up on the Switch 2, you're not too bothered about the quality and you're more interested in, as I keep on saying it, playing as you go. And it feels smooth. Some of the lighting is brilliant with it using the hardware ray tracing. In fact, Stormtroopers probably utilized this the best, believe it or not, and overall the game looks and feels great even when you're on the likes of ships. A bonus with the Switch 2 edition is you do get all the DLC included as well, so if this is a personal game that you enjoy, then you'll be able to get even more content, and if you did pre-order it, there are some cosmetics you will get included. Since release, stealth has been fixed, so if you did get this game at launch but you're unsure whether to play it again and you would like to play it on the Switch 2, then just know some of the gameplay issues that were here have now been fixed with multiple updates. The rumble from the controllers is especially good with the likes of footsteps, and motion blur is also turned off straight from launch. Reflections are pretty okay off the water, nothing spectacular, but you wouldn't necessarily expect that for a Switch 2 port. Sadly, this is a game keycard, but for you digital people, it is only 20.2 gigabytes, which is insane for it to be such a small game. Considering the amount of content and the world in Star Wars Outlaws, to cram it into such a small size is very impressive from Ubisoft. And probably more surprising, this does not take a cut in audio, and whilst it might not be as good as the likes of the PlayStation, the audio is still very good, and again, you probably won't notice a difference, especially if you are wearing headphones. With fast loading times as well, you haven't got to wait an age, and I'm sure that is an extra benefit to many Switch players. The game is priced at around $49.99, which in my opinion is a little bit steep. I think £10 more and that would have been fair. However, clearly a lot of development and work has gone into Star Wars Outlaws to get it onto the Switch 2, so in some ways I can respect the price point. If you started Star Wars Outlaws on one of your other consoles and you would like to play it on the Switch 2 instead, there is a cloud save option which you can port over your save to the Switch 2, which might allow you to finish the game. The Switch 2 unsurprisingly does not have a lot of graphical options. However, you can change the ratio to 21.9 and this will give you a far superior FOV if you would prefer to play the game this way. And I have to admit, the game does look quite spectacular in this. For the sake of the video, I did play this on full screen. However, it is worth noting. Cutscenes overall feel quite good, but you would expect that. And in conclusion, I would highly recommend this, especially if this is a game you was curious about or maybe played at launch but you want to finish and you have the spare money for it. I would definitely recommend picking up Star Wars Outlaws on the Switch 2.